Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
British MPs to debate the move to ban same-sex marriage in Bermuda. That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Wednesday, January 24. From the CMC News Centre in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. Bermuda's controversial move banning same-sex marriage is to be debated by UK politicians as the British Overseas Territory continues to wait for Governor John Rankin to give assent to the legislation. The debate will take place at the end of next Monday's session in the House of Commons in London. The Domestic Partnership Bill was designed to replace same-sex marriage, which was approved by the court in May last year with civil unions. It was passed by Parliament last month, but Governor Rankin is yet to assent to the legislation. The last statement from Government House in the matter said Rankin is continuing to consider the bill and is taking legal advice. After the legislation was passed by the Senate last year, the UK government said it is a proud supporter of LGBT rights and continues to support same-sex marriage. It said while it was disappointed with the implications of the bill, the matter was one for the Bermuda government acting within the terms of the Constitution and in accordance with international law. The issue was recently discussed by the British Foreign Affairs Select Committee with Minister of State for the Commonwealth Lord Ahmad being asked what decision he had made about Bermuda's move. Lord Ahmad, who is responsible for the overseas territories, was clear on where the UK government stands, but he stopped short of saying whether the governor would give assent to the bill.
I've raised that directly with the Premier. It's of deep concern to us that we had made positive traction with Bermuda, and that's an issue that I've raised directly with the Premier when I met with him just after the JMC, and they know of our deep concern in this respect. Now, if your question, I don't know if your subsequent question, would we impose something on? We are clear where we stand on the issue of same-sex marriage. It's the human right of any individual to have that right. That point has been made in no uncertain terms to the Premier, and he is aware of the British government's position on that.
Sorry to interrupt you, but if the governor, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, but the reversal of the existing legislation under which some people have been same-sex married, I think 6 couples, depends on the governor signing it. Will the governor sign it on the British government's behalf or not?
I think we're clear that anything, our governor is a representative of the UK and he will reflect the views of Her Majesty's government.
That's a no. He won't.
Yeah. Just on this, I mean, we're discussing this with the Minister, but also with the Governor at the moment, because it's important also that it's based on the Constitution of Bermuda and the legal position. So we're very clear this is an important issue. It's not been finalised yet, but we're certainly aiming to do that shortly.
I'm going to bring us back to the overseas.
If I may, it's an important issue. I will formally
Will you write
come
to
back
us
to
on
you
that? I'd be very
because I think it's an important. Mr. Bryant's quite right to raise this. I've got deep concerns about what's happened there. I think what Mr. Merrick's actually just highlighted is there's a constitutional position in terms of.
Does the government take instruction from London, from the Crown?
Yes, the governor does take instruction, but as you've suggested, I will write to you on the specifics of this.
Jamaica Prime Minister Andrew Holness is defending his administration's initiative to achieve 5% GDP growth in 4 years, although the island did not achieve the target for last year. He says the figures are not yet in, but all indications are the country will fall way short of the needed 2% growth for 2017. Government's 5 in 4 plan was developed in collaboration with the Economic Growth Council and was launched last April. Speaking at a news conference on Tuesday, Holness expressed confidence in the initiative, adding that new strategies may have to be introduced to cater for exogenous shocks.
The challenge with growth is not all internal. It's not that we have not made effort. Some of it is caused by exogenous shocks, things over which we have no control. In a sense, you know, we are happy when it rains, but when it rains too much. So there is no doubt that the changing weather and more intense and frequent weather events have wreaked havoc on our open agriculture, which says to me that we will have to reform the entire agriculture sector to make it resilient to climate change issues. The truth is that the Jamaican economy is still very dependent on agriculture. So anything that affects agriculture will affect the immediate outturns of economic growth.
Also speaking at the press conference was Agriculture Minister Carl Samuda. He told reporters that while agriculture is a crucial element of the growth strategy, the economy cannot continue to grow exponentially one year and decline the next simply because of weather conditions. He said his ministry will embark on an initiative to make the sector more secure.
We are constantly at risk to wind through hurricane, drought, and flooding. So we must take the opportunity to seize the moment and do more creative things to utilize some of the negatives and turn them into positives. And that is why we are going to launch an aggressive strategy to deal with water harvesting, which is an international strategy as enunciated by the FAO in their last conference. In addition to that, for purposes of increasing productivity, which is at the root of our problems, we must deal with secure agriculture, covered agriculture. So we have to expand the notion of having greenhouses and agriculture that will be more secure, more controlled, and more productive.
Staying in Jamaica, criminals trying to avoid capture during the state of emergency in St. James are being hunted down. National Security Minister Robert Montague says operations have now gone island-wide to capture those who may have eluded the dragnet in the parish. He made the disclosure in Parliament on Tuesday as he gave an update on the detentions and seizures made since the state of emergency was declared last Thursday. Montague told the House of Representatives that 197 people were detained, while 4 firearms and more than 300 rounds of ammunition were recovered. 10 of the detainees were wanted for serious crimes and 83 are believed to be connected to gangs in St. James. The minister said the 178 people remaining in custody are subject to further investigation. In terms of island-wide measures, Montague said operations including raids, searches and visits to persons on curfew orders were conducted, and as a result, 18 people have been detained. In Trinidad and Tobago, there are questions about whether there was a plot to help a high-risk prisoner escape on Monday night. The prisoner, who has been linked to several high-profile matters, including murder and fraud, was reportedly almost taken out of prison for a court date that had already been changed. CNC3's Ria Rambali has the details.
Less than 2 months after Vicky Budram's great escape, we learned that a high-risk prisoner was almost removed from jail under strangely similar circumstances. However, plans to escape, if any at all, were averted by prison authorities whose due diligence and checks unearthed a mix-up in court dates. As a result, prison officers did not release the Port of Spain prisoner into the custody of police officers. CNC3 understands the prisoner, who has been detained since 2015 in connection with murder and gang-related charges, was scheduled to appear in the Arima court on Monday, January 22nd. However, the date had been changed to sometime next week. We were told that despite the change, escort services came to the Port of Spain prison for the prisoner's scheduled appearance. But when checks were made, documents reflected the change in date by the court, and the prisoner was not handed over. Less than 24 hours later, prison officers and police would lock down the Port of Spain prison, blocking off roads in the vicinity. There are questions tonight whether the two incidents were linked. But Prisons Commissioner Jared Wilson describes Tuesday's search as routine.
A random search is one of those normal search and seizure operations. And that is all that happened today. Nothing unusual, nothing untoward.
He did, however, confirm the incident involving the high-risk prisoner, saying it was an error on the part of court and protocol officers.
And still to come in Caribbean Newsline, stricter aviation regulations for the Bahamas in the wake of recent air accidents. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Sail with us through our ocean blues, where there's a blessed land that's waiting for you. Shh. Look, listen, feel. Realize your dream escape that's magically surreal. The best kept secret, a place you'll never forget, where adventure beckons with every gentle footstep. From lush mountain green to warm volcanic sand, submerged in splendor, our 32 enchanting islands. A kaleidoscope of experiences. No need to look anymore. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean you're looking for.
Did you know that a strategy has been developed to help improve the region's education and human resources?
You didn't? Well, the HID strategy, as it is called, will guide CARICOM in how it delivers quality education and training to the people of the region.
The strategy has been crafted by a group of experts called the HRD Commission.
Consultations have been done across the region to get your input.
Do you know that none of us will be left behind?
The HRD strategy is important to all of us, students, parents, and employers. It will prepare the region, especially the youth, for the 21st century economy and society.
The HRD strategy, unlocking Caribbean human potential.
We continue in the Bahamas, where stricter aviation regulations are to be implemented in the wake of recent air accidents. The announcement follows last week's plane crash in which the pilot and his 5 passengers were all killed. We get more in this ZNS Network News report.
Although investigations are ongoing into that fatal Andros plane crash, Aviation Minister Dionisio Diaguila had this to say about those in the sector who may be hacking.
It seems to be a concerted effort by many pilots who want to be involved in the hacking business to declare that they're only transporting passengers who are their friends and their family. But really, they're transporting people for pay. And we are actively, I've charged the Bahamas Civil Aviation Authority to let's change that dynamic. Let's give the necessary entities the teeth and the power to prevent this problem from continuing.
Having acknowledged that the problem of hacking has been long-standing, Minister de Aguilar says this problem must be rectified immediately. As minister responsible, he says it's now a priority.
I mean, when I ask people, well, why hasn't this been dealt with? I mean, I'm a Johnny-come-lately. I've just arrived. You know, this is new to me. And why hasn't this been done with? And I hear over and over again, there isn't the political will to deal with this. And I'm like, why not? Bahamian lives are at stake. We need to deal with this. We need to address this issue. And I've charged the Director General of the Bahamas Civil Aviation Authority to come up with a plan.
The aviation minister disclosed his immediate directives to effect change.
All pilots leave from airports. Let us empower the place from which they depart or the place from which they arrive to with the power to inspect and to check and to verify the documents to ensure that the aircraft is airworthy and the pilot indeed has a license to transport people for commercial purposes. This cannot continue. The Bahamian people expect their regulators to ensure that when they go to the airport and they get on that plane, we have as the regulators have checked that plane and verified that that pilot is indeed in a position to transport people for pay.
Minister de Aguilar says lives were lost as a result of an unregulated system of checks and balances. And moving forward, he will be that change agent.
It's up to us to be able to look ourselves in the mirror and say, you know what, we did the right thing. And it certainly was not a result of something that we did not do. And I'm not convinced that we're doing all that we can do. And I intend to change that.
3 Mexicans have been detained in Belize accused of bank robbery. The trio, including a husband and wife, is accused of stealing thousands of Belizean dollars through an ATM scam between November 2017 and this month. The 3 were arrested last Friday at an apartment where police found several electronic devices and international ATM cards used to withdraw the cash from the bank machines. Assistant Superintendent of Police is Alejandro Cowell.
The Atlantic Bank had indicated to police that they had seen these 3 male persons, 2 male persons and a female, withdrawing several amounts of cash from different ATMs within the country.
While today the trio was charged for a total of $1,100, the ongoing investigation has since revealed that between November and last Friday, Atlantic Bank ATMs across the country were hit and over 100,000 Belize dollars were stolen by the accused Mexican thieves. The cards were not for Belizeans, but international cards with different names attached, and the trio would simply use them to withdraw a substantive amount of money from the accounts.
They are of different persons, so we suspect that they have been stolen from other persons.
Belizeans?
No, all of them is international cards.
About how many, sir? Do you know?
We have over 60, if I'm not mistaken.
Sir, has the investigation been able to indicate how much has been withdrawn from these accounts so far?
The report from Atlantic Bank is giving an estimate, a roughly estimate of about $100,000 within a period from November to present date. Atlantic Bank in the Free Zone, Corozal, Orangewac, Belize City. I had San Pedro, Kikakar, and I believe San Ignacio.
At least for the past 3 weeks, the Mexicans lived here at this apartment in Ladyville. It is here that the authorities, in collaboration with the Financial Intelligence Unit, recovered electronic devices believed to have been used in the crime.
And that report was from Channel 5 Belize. When the matter was taken to court on Tuesday, the 3 were denied bail on the grounds that they only had visitors' permits and were a flight risk. Coming up in Newsline Sports, superstar batsman Chris Gayle returns to domestic limited overs action after a 7-year break. Stay with us. Sport is next.
Come, experience cricket action like you have never seen it before at the Super 50 Cricket Festival 2018. 43 matches, Antigua and Barbados, 10 teams, an epic 50-over regional battle, a massive showcase of Caribbean cuisine, and a crowning of the Super 50 Cup champion, and one big after party. Calling all cricket fans, January 30 to February 24. Come for the action, stay for the vibes. Get your tickets now on the ticketing app, and for more details, go to windiescricket.com.
Did you know that a strategy has been developed to help improve the region's education and human resources?
You didn't? Well, the HID strategy, as it is called, will guide CARICOM in how it delivers quality education and training to the people of the region.
The strategy has been crafted by a group of experts called the HRD Commission.
Consultations have been done across the region to get your input.
Do you know that none of us will be left behind?
The HRD strategy is important to all of us, students, parents, and employers. It will prepare the region, especially the youth, for the 21st century economy and society.
The HRD strategy, unlocking Caribbean human potential.
Sail with us through our ocean blues, where there's a blessed land that's waiting for you. Shh. Look, listen, feel. Realize your dream escape that's magically surreal. The best kept secret, a place you'll never forget, where adventure beckons with every gentle footstep. From lush mountain green to warm volcanic sand, submerged in splendor, our 32 enchanting islands. A kaleidoscope of experiences. No need to look anymore. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean you're looking for.
Superstar opener Chris Gayle will return to domestic limited overs action after a 7-year break when he headlines the upcoming regional Super 50 tournament. The 38-year-old has been included in the Jamaica Scorpions squad for the January 30 to February 24 tournament, adding flavor to a campaign that has lacked star quality in recent years. Gayle is the Caribbean's premier one-day batsman with over 9,000 runs in 275 one-day internationals and nearly 12,000 in List A cricket. But his last appearance in a domestic 50 overs tournament was back in 2011 when Jamaica beat Trinidad and Tobago in the final at the Guyana National Stadium. Explosive all-rounder Andre Russell, who returns to action after serving a 1-year anti-doping whereabouts ban, which also kept him out of international cricket. Russell has missed the last 3 years of the tournament and, like Gayle, will bring an added quality to the Scorpions, who were last year's losing finalists. Sunil Narayan will also suit up for this year's competition after being named in the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. Group A, comprising regional champions Barbados Pride, Red Force, Triple C Marooners, Windward Islands, Volcanoes and Hampshire will be staged in Barbados with matches played at historic Kensington Oval and the 3Ws Oval. Group B will bring together Scorpions, Leeward Islands, Hurricanes, Jaguars, United States and Kent to do battle at the Vivian Richards Cricket Stadium and the Coolidge Cricket Ground. Jamaica Under-20 women ended their final Group B match in the CONCACAF Women's Championship on Tuesday with a 2-all draw against Nicaragua. We're talking football. The Reggae Girls took the lead in the 6th minute of the game and then broke a deadlock an hour into the match from a strike-off Jasmine Grant. Here are some of the highlights of the match that was played in Couva, Trinidad.
The host country. So there we go. Gets a return ball. That's a good one. Brown with the cross. And there's shot. And it's gone in. A mistake by the goalkeeper. And Jamaica have scored inside the first 6 minutes. Norori seemed to have had that under control. It just rolled over her body and into the back of the net.
Good football.
Well, back into the center for Gilday. It goes down.
It's been given.
It's a penalty for Nicaragua. And there is their first goal of the competition. Nicaragua have equalized in the 22nd minute. Goal for Nicaragua. Grant gets past two in the box. Grant with a chance on Jamaica. She scores! Grant has put Jamaica ahead for the second time in the 63rd minute. A driving run by Grant.
Well done, good turn.
It's all about the shot. We still have the opportunity.
Chance.
Here's a shot. Oh! What a stunning goal by Nicaragua. She turns on a dime and puts it into the back of the net in the 82nd minute. And there it is. The final match of Group B ends in a draw. It is Nicaragua 2, Jamaica 2. It's been a thrilling match all the way.
Meanwhile, the men's squad is confident of victory in their international friendly with South Korea. The Reggae Boys spoke with TVJ's Jordan Fort as they departed for Turkey on Tuesday.
Left the island on Tuesday, aiming to conquer the 9-time World Cup participants. Not that the Jamaicans have ever beaten South Korea, but midfielder Owain Gordon sees something special in this team.
I see players that is proving themselves in the Premier League and players that is very hungry. So I think it's a great opportunity and a challenge for them as well to proving themselves that it's not just on the local terms, it's professional and international football stage as well.
And not even the off-the-field issues surrounding the coaches and their contracts is expected to be a hindrance to the team.
They have their role to play, we have our role to play, you know, and whatever phases that the coaching staff and the management staff have, it's a total difference to the players, you know, because we know our job and our job is go out there, represent and do our best. So whatever happens outside of that, we have no control of and don't have no responsibility for that.
And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Barbados, renowned for its pristine beachfront and fantastic weather, continues to leave quite an impression on newcomers to the island and returning visitors. The Caribbean island, quite popular as a vacation hotspot, is not only beautiful due to its natural aesthetics. The island of Barbados continues to grow in popularity because of unique connections developed with our people, our culture. We can't wait to welcome you.
Again, the major developments of this day: Bermuda's controversial move banning same-sex marriage to be debated by British MPs. And in sport, Chris Gayle set to make a return to domestic limited overs cricket in the upcoming regional Super 50 tournament. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, log on to KhanaNews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and do have yourselves a good night.